Howdy and welcome to a new video. Happy birthday to me! Yay! Thank you all so much for your comments. My birthday was on May 21st, but this is the full process of my birthday art for this year. As you already read, this isn't just a draw with me, but also questions and answers. I receive a lot of questions, so I'm really excited to answer them. I'm still practicing speaking, but I'm not sure if I've actually been improving. Even so, I think it's important to include subtitles. I receive a lot of questions. I'll be organizing them by topic. From what I read, there are themes like my art, commissions, inspirations, OC content, YouTube videos, and more. So, let's begin. I'll be answering the questions while showing you my process working on my birthday art. When did you start drawing? I started drawing when I was a child. I was around 4 years old and I was already doodling in some notebooks my mom used to give me. My mom noticed from a very young age how I always fill notebooks with drawings, so I have a huge amount of them. She keeps things really well, so they're probably somewhere around the house. It will be funny to look for them and see what I used to draw. Thanks to that, I'm where I am today. What first inspired you to start drawing? I remember watching Barbie and Monster High movies. They were some of my first inspirations, and I remember that most of the drawings I made in my notebooks were about that. After that, I started taking drawing classes when I was around 5 or 6 years old, and I attended them for at least many years. I don't remember the last year I went. I think I was around 11 or 12 years old. But those drawing classes were my way of drawing consistently, and I went from drawing in notebooks to drawing on proper art paper using pencils, acrylic paint, watercolors. I tried different drawing techniques and I became my very first foundation to begin my art journey. How long have you been drawing for? Taking into account what I mentioned before, briefly speaking, 15 or 16 years, although that's drawing traditionally. Drawing digitally has been 11 years, so yeah, it's been a long journey. What inspired you to draw and how did you learn to draw? Let's start with something more interesting. I already talked about what inspired me as a child to draw in notebooks, but now let's talk about what inspired me to keep drawing and improving. Let's say I was around 7 or 8 years old, and at that time, Steven Universe, Adventure Time, and My Little Pony were airing. Later on, I also watched videos on YouTube, and I remember very clearly some of the artists I used to watch back then, like No Light Artist, POICDF, Shapura Mary, and now that I remember, the My Little Pony's speed paints made in paint, or animation memes. That was a huge starting point for me to discover more art content. If I'm honest, I don't remember watching tutorial videos about how to draw in general. I enjoyed watching other people drawing process more than watching a specific tutorial for it. So I ended up being very self-doubt about it. I drew very consistently, and without realizing it, I started building a style that kept changing and improving. Who is an artist that inspired you? Who are your favorite artists? POICDF was one of the first artists that really inspired me, and an artist who left a huge mark on me, not only because of her way of drawing and the videos I watched from her, but also because of some of her art blogs. In some of them, she showed her process for making product for her shop, and I couldn't stop feeling motivated about how much I wanted to make notebooks, stickers, or pins in the future. And well, no one here. If we talk more about the present, some artists that currently inspire me are Nirami, Ali or Blueberry on YouTube, Mary 3D Again on Instagram, Mary Felisola, Nightmare, Luca, and maybe some others that I can't remember right now. What are your biggest art inspirations? Well, Van Gogh has always been another piece that's part of my artistic life. I remember doing high school projects focused on his artistic journey, so I really love his works. I even had a period of time where I tried making drawings with more vibrant colors and something similar to brush strokes or messier strokes. In the end, I changed into the style I currently have, but that's another topic entirely. I could also include the artists I mentioned in the previous question here too, especially PUICF. What kind of art style were you inspired by? It's a hard question to answer if I'm honest. I don't know if my style has a name or if it falls into any specific category, but it also felt somewhat inspired by League of Legends splash arts and the artistic style of Arcane. If you ask my younger self, I will be say my style is anime. You know, like how most people generally describe an art style, but if you ask me now, honestly, I have no idea. It's not completely simple, my rendering is detailed, but I don't aim for something realistic. If I had to associate it with the art styles of other artists who inspire me, it would be something like Megan Cito art style or Mary Felisola's. How did you find your own art style? I think that ever since I started drawing digitally, I began taking inspiration from what other people do and tried drawing it in my own way. It's a very long journey and difficult to fully recap. I went through many style changes and I also experimented with different rendering methods. I painted traditionally, rendered digitally, I did a lot of things. It was a matter of gathering the things I liked from other artists, drawing and starting to implement them into my own work, like the way they rendered hair, anatomy, how they draw eyes, and things like that. What made your art style improve? For my case, watching other artists and also drawing consistently, a lot of consistency. I draw every day and although now I also work doing commissions, even before that I was already drawing every single day. Became part of my routine and an important moment in my daily life. If you have time to practice for a while during the day, that's more than perfect. There are also some artists who notice improvement even after long periods without drawing, but that depends on each artist. In my case, it was my consistency in drawing every day and my motivation to keep improving. Do you ever think about wanting to change your art style often? If so, how do you tell yourself to stick to the one you have? Actually, it's not really about forcing myself to keep my current style, it's more that I know the style I currently have is the one I want. If I see something I could add or remove from my style, I do practice and experiments to see how that changes or improves my art style. But overall, no, I don't want to change my style. I want to improve it, to reach that point where I feel comfortable with it, and that's what I want for now. If one day I woke up wanting to change my style, I will try it first and see if I truly felt comfortable with it. In fact, I had several phases throughout my life where my style changed for a few years. More vibrant colors, detailed line art, detailed backgrounds, I tried everything. At the end of the day, I realized I didn't feel comfortable with those styles. They took too much time, stressed me out by the end of the day, or simply wasn't convinced with the final results. After trying many styles, I found the style I wanted, that basically the summary. Whenever I want to improve or change something, I test it in new illustrations and then decide whether I want to keep it or not. That's, for example, what happened with my hair rendering. You can probably notice how it's more detailed now than before. There's more depth thanks to the shadow I apply and all that. If you were a beginner artist, what would be the first thing you will do to start drawing? I will probably watch more tutorials to have a defined base from which to start drawing, but also I wouldn't force myself to strictly follow what the tutorial says. You have to experiment, figure out what you enjoy the most, and find ways to push that further and include it in your own drawings. Rather than forcing myself to come out with original ideas or relying purely on imagination, you will make fan art, draw things I like, and simply draw in the first place. You don't need expensive materials, and you don't need a tablet and a stylus to start drawing. At first, I drew on a whole notebook with a pencil, an eraser, and cheap colored pencils. I also spent years drawing digitally on a whole phone using my finger and IbisPaint. It wasn't until I was 15 that I got my drawing tablet, and only last year was I finally able to buy myself an iPad. Do you have any tips for beginner artists? Well, I already mentioned this a bit before, but let me give motivational comments from my perspective. As an artist, don't feel bad, sad, or put yourself down by comparing yourself to other artists. Instead of thinking, oh, my art is bad or I can draw like them, I would rather think, I want to reach the level they have, but in a positive way. I don't mean copying their style, but instead using that level as a point in your artistic journey that you want to reach. Look at other artists not to compare yourself, but as inspiration to keep improving, drawing and changing. Don't put yourself down if you think your style isn't good enough. Every artist is at a different point in their artistic journey. The artists you admire have gone through the same path you are currently on. They improved, they kept going, and they reached the point where they are now. No one starts drawing already and knowing everything. It's a long journey that lasts a lifetime, and is always constantly changing. Also, don't force yourself to draw or pressure yourself into drawing every single day. Let's remember that art block exists. As an artist who spent an entire year unable to draw because of that is not good. If you feel like one day or even 1 week you don't want to draw, don't force yourself to do it. In the long run, you end up associating drawing with negative feelings, and that's make you want to draw even less. I hope this was helpful for you. How was your first experience doing rendering on IbisPaint? I remember my first drawing, although it wasn't in IbisPaint, it was in Sketch. Does that app still exist? Well, going back to IbisPaint, it was a headache because I had no idea what I was doing. Between drawing on my phone with my finger, not understanding the brushes, I was basically completely lost. I remember my hair rendering being just a bunch of lines, black shadows, but to summarize, I had absolutely no idea what to do. It was not a good start. What brushes do you use? I have a short where I included the brush codes, but I'll share them here again, along with some new ones I've been trying in recent drawings. You know, line art, rendering, textures, and stuff like that. What canvas size do you use? That depends a lot, but as a starting point, I usually work on a 2200 by 2200 canvas as a base. Unless I'm working on a banner, in that case I use a 2380 by 840, although I be also working on much larger canvases up to 5000 by 3000 when I'm making character sheets. Also, with the Draw With Me videos I upload, I always include information about the drawing in the description. That includes the canvas size. What is your favorite food to draw and render? I haven't rendered much food lately, but I love rendering desserts, especially the ones that have whipped cream. I really like the pattern the cream makes, and it's one of my favorite things to render. In this little drawing, I took the chance to include a lot of desserts, tea, teapots, everything. So here you will see how I render all of that. I know I don't render it that well yet, but I'm still practicing. How long does it usually take to finish an art piece? On average, 8 hours. Well, no, it really depends on what I'm drawing. The silly chibis take me around 1 hour. The regular chibis take around 1 or 3 or even 5 hours. And more complex illustrations take me 8 hours and up. I even have drawings that took me 15 hours, but in general my drawings takes me many hours. Why did you start commissions? Ever since I started drawing digitally, I was excitedly waiting to turn 18 so I could open my PayPal account. Basically, when I turned 18, the first thing I did was open a PayPal account so I could start commissions. At that time, I didn't draw that well yet, but I was willing to start working with commissions. It was one of my next goals, and now I will already achieve it. In short, I wanted to start working doing what I love, turning my hobby into a job. When did you start doing commissions? I opened commissions shortly after turning 18, but I believe it was around August 2024 when I received my first commission. So in August, I officially reached 2 years of doing commissions. How was your first experience with commissions? Do you have any tips for those who also want to work on it? Fortunately, following what I said in the previous question, the experience was good. I remember making a chibi. It was something simple, but I clearly remember how happy I was to receive my first payment. In general, all my clients have been amazing and communication with them has been the best. Unfortunately, I experienced a few scam attempts 2 or 3 times. Even though they discouraged me for a while, I didn't let myself give up and I continued working on commissions. The summary is because I actually want to make a specific tutorial on how to do or start commissions. I made one in the past, but I think it's time to remake it and take advantage of the fact that I cannot talk in my videos. First, work using PayPal, invoices, or Coffee. That way you have a record of the payments received in case any problems happen. Always add a lot of watermarks to your work whenever it's the sketch or the final result if the client hasn't fully paid for the commission yet. If you share the commission on your socials, add a watermark clarifying that it's a commission and is not allowed to be used or shared. You also need to pay attention to who contacts you. Key things to know whenever someone is a real client or a scammer are the things they ask for. If they ask for things that aren't listed on your commission sheet, you should be careful. And if they offer a budget way higher than your commission prices right from the start, you should know that it's a scam. Also, if they want to make a portrait of their child, pet, or similar things, it's a scam too, a very common type of scam. And if they want to pay at the end when your terms of service clearly state that the payment is upfront or after the sketch, that's also a form of scam, making you work on a commission they won't pay at the end of the day. Those are some of my tips. What's the best method for promoting commissions? You should properly establish a price list and what you offer, including examples, commission options, prices, and very importantly, your terms of service. This helps you set clear boundaries like payment method, how long the commission will take, how the commission process will work, and essentially what you will and will not draw. With all of that ready, you can create a card page to include all the info or use socials like Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram to start promoting yourself. You can also do it through Discord servers focused on art commissions. You need to show what you do, not only promote your commissions but also recent drawings. If you maintain consistency in posting your art, it will attract new users and potential clients. If you will pick one favorite character design from your commissioners, what will it be? I've done so many commissions that I will honestly lose count. I don't have one specific character that I remember and think I love drawing this, but there is a category of characters that I really enjoy drawing. Essentially, kemono mimis. If they have bunny ears, cat ears, things like that, I find them really cute and I like playing around with those character traits. I also enjoy detailed characters and characters with vibrant colors, especially yellow, green, and brown. Will you rather have a different job than being a commissioner? No. Well, it depends. I'm a freelance artist. I do commissions, I make YouTube videos. Honestly, I do a little bit of everything. Although I want to keep moving forward and eventually build a strong enough portfolio to work with companies, book publishers, whatever it might be. I don't want to stop doing commissions, but if I had the opportunity to take another step and become an illustration for book publishers or companies like that, I would absolutely love it. I also have some future plans like going to artist holidays, but that's still a very fresh idea and I'm still figuring some things out for that. When did you want to start a YouTube channel? Nobody noticed, but I actually have another YouTube channel from when I was 12. I used it to upload some speed paints of the drawings I made at that time. They were very badly edited and all that stuff. All the videos are private now, but after that I went on to create this channel around 2021. So I had this channel for 5 years? I didn't realize it had been that long. The first videos I uploaded here had kind of been lost in time. What are your favorite YouTubers? Maybe not many of you will understand this answer, but aside from the artists I love, I want to specifically talk about YouTubers outside the art sphere that I really enjoy watching. They are Spanish speaking, so maybe for some of you English speakers, they won't sound familiar. My favorite YouTubers are Kade, Igo Juan, Selendas, Tano Vishar, Dinosaur Vlogs, and Farfa Vlogs. I watch many different kinds of content and I love watching their videos while I work on commissions. Are you planning on making tutorials for more specific things? Yes, I just need to find the time to record more specific tutorial videos. I need to remake the rendering tutorial, make videos for different types of anatomy, aside from other tutorials about how I make my videos or how to start commissions. How did you make your video layout? Could you make a tutorial? Will it help if I uploaded the Speedpaint? I used my previous overlay as a reference to start working on this one, but I could actually make some themed overlays, maybe for October, so I can include all that Halloween aesthetic. That would be interesting, right? First, I established the spaces while working on a canvas that matched the usual size for long videos, and then I adapted to vertical format. It's also best to keep your videos editing program open while working so you can see how the overlays adapt to the format. That way you can adjust things like the size, details, text, and more. This just motivated me to make a tutorial. Will it be okay if I made a draw with me while working on a themed overlay for October, or is it too early? How do you make your thumbnails? Do you plan them? I make them in IbisPaint. I check the canvas size for YouTube thumbnails, and from there I take advantage of including parts of my overlay. Once I know what I'm going to upload, I make a placeholder using a work in progress of the drawing I recorded. Then in the background I start adding lots of little details so it doesn't look empty, like layers from the drawing, some reference windows, and if not, I add other elements that I included in my overlay. In general, I already have a definite base for my thumbnails, and from there I add or remove things from each one. Do you plan on starting animation or trying animation for the first time? Actually, I tried animating this year. I made a short animation of Blizzard Seeker, but I got tired after 2 days and left it unfinished. Speaking of that animation, here it is. My idea was to make a lore drop about her, but well, I have to find other ways to show it. I have no idea where to start with frame by frame animation. I love coming up with ideas in my head, but since I don't know how to animate them, they just stay there in my head. Maybe sometime in the future I'll try animating something again. What inspired you to make your pet OC Zipp? It came from one of my dumbest ideas. The first idea was to make an alien cat, but that idea was already pretty common, so I realized it maybe wouldn't feel that recognizable. I remembered that I love seals, then BAM! Alien seal. Zipp flippers also resemble butterflies because I love them, although I think I'll probably end up ignoring that detail in the design. Zipp design was made kind of quickly, but that's because the motivation hit me all at once and I had to start working on it immediately. Do you have any advice on how to make OCs that you actually end up liking? My personal advice is to add your own personal traits to your OCs. Every single one of my OCs has elements of myself in them. Whenever they're tiny or very significant, all of them have a part of me, and that's make me feel very connected to them. Find things you enjoy for the design. Pinterest will become your source of visual ideas, but in the end, you will be the one shaping the character. But if you see something about your character that doesn't convince you, change it. I like having a base with elements that will stay important to the OC structure. Some elements never change where others do. I like thinking about which features of the character will be the most eye-catching. Yuemi has her little antennas, curly hair, the bangs covering one eye, and the fang in her mouth. Avalon has her bangs covering her eyebrows, her always indifferent or empty expression, and the mole under her eye. Blizzard Seeker has the scar covering half of her face, her hat, her braid, and her blue eye with a red pupil. Enora has her two moles and the high vents. In short, add elements of yourself into your OCs, especially habits, personality, ideas, and thoughts, and establish which elements will be the most iconic in their design and won't change even if the character has redesigned. Are you planning to show more videos of your OCs? Yes! Know that I can talk in my videos. I can talk as much as I want about my OCs. Just give me time to draw and design them. My biggest fear is happily talking about my OCs and you not understanding anything I'm talking about, which is also why I included these subtitles down here. There are many terms and concepts that are better to read writing here in the subtitles. Just by knowing that my OC's universe is called Tyborn, I can already tell you that the rest of the terms follow that same vibe. Maybe it would be better if I first talked about Yuemi's spaceship, which includes Yuemi, Avalon, Lovetta, and Zipp. They're not exactly in the same universe as my other OCs, but well. Do you plan on doing some series like animations or manga panel style art with your own OCs? Of course, yes, absolutely yes. In fact, I think it's time to show you some comic panels I made once with Morpho whole design. I'll share them someday. I tried starting something like a webtoon comic, but at the time I still didn't have the key points fully established. After so much daydreaming, I finally have the most important parts of the story figured out. Maybe before officially starting that project, I'll make small comics explaining the lore of some of my OCs. Yeah, I think I'll end up making comics about Enora and Blizzard Seeker. What's your favorite OC? How did you get the inspiration to create it? Totally not obvious that my favorite OC is Blizzard Seeker. I designed her around late 2024 and after that I realized how much I love her as an OC. But what you don't know is that this OC actually dates back to 2016, or at least the concept does. The first design and the current one have absolutely nothing to do with each other. I wanted something like a bounty hunter, something medieval, and boom, that's how Blizzard Seeker came to life. I honestly don't remember exactly what I did when I made the first design back in 2024. I also wanted to practice more athletic anatomy, and she became the perfect example to start practicing with. Once the design was done, I started defining her personality better. At first, I wanted her to be rausher and more violent, but she ended up becoming a socially awkward woman in her 30s who absolutely loves cats. Yeah, a lot changes. But honestly, I like it because it gives her more depth. Imagine a person almost 2 meters tall approaching you in a village. You talk to her and she just nods, says to everything you say, stares you seriously without showing an expression. But the second she spots a cat within a 5-meter radius, you will officially lose her. Because now she has to catch the cat and shower it with affection, no matter what. She actually keeps the same serious or indifferent expression all the time. It's only with cats, Enora, and another character I haven't introduced yet that her expression changes even a little. Talking about exact inspiration for her is really funny because as I consume media, I find characters that inspire little parts of her character. So basically, Blizzard Seeker ended up being inspired by Capitano and Chlorine from Genshin Impact, Sevika and Ambessa from Arcane, Kratos from God of War, the 2018 game, Scarlet from Mortal Kombat, and Nasha Nidorin from The Mighty Nein. There are also other characters that I didn't directly take inspiration from, but they give me her vibe, like Jet Fillmore from Goat, Tigress from Kung Fu Panda, or Kitty Cat from The Bad Guys 2. It's funny, right? What other things do you do on your iPad? Nothing. I use my iPad exclusively for work. Search for reference on Pinterest and that's it. It's a device exclusively for work. Do you have hobbies other than drawing? Yes, actually, I use it to write. I said use it to because I barely do it anymore. During high school, people told me I wrote really well, but honestly, I always felt like my storytelling was very rough. Maybe someday you will be able to read some of my fragments. I've been writing short stories and I have multiple ideas for long stories. I just can't find the motivation to write something without feeling like I'm doing it wrong. And I love baking. I love making sweet things, cookies, cakes, desserts, a little bit of everything. What games do you play? At the moment, only Genshin Impact, but mostly because of storage space on my computer and because time due to work and studies. But if we have to recap games we played in the past, then there's Minecraft, Call of Duty, God of War, the PlayStation 3 ones, The Sims, and a ton of PlayStation 2 games. Who is your favorite band? This is going to be the most Uruguayan answer possible. I absolutely love El Cuarteto de Nos. I've been listening to them since I was really little and I already know many of their songs by heart. I love them so much. They are a national band from my country. What's your favorite music artist? I absolutely adore Misky. I've listened to almost all of her songs, but I joined a group of people who honestly get emotionally affected by them. She has a way of singing where everything sounds undeniably nostalgic, but she always has a song that represents how I feel. The first song I heard from her was Washing Machine Heart, and from there it became a one-way trip into listening to all of her music. Where's My Phone, Francis Forever, Class of 2013. I love all of her songs so much. If she ever did a concert in my country, it could be honestly a dream come true. The bad part, Uruguay is a country that very few singers come to, and if someone does come, they usually only go to neighboring countries or not even that. But dreaming is free. Are you a fan of anime? If so, which one? What is your favorite anime and why is your favorite anime character? When I was a teenager, I used to watch anime. I didn't watch that many, mostly just the more mainstream ones from those years, like Dragon Ball, Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, Danganronpa, the animation, and that's it. I clearly remember many series, but honestly, I've been watching very few myself, but the one I watched with the most excitement when the final season aired was Attack on Titan. I was so excited to watch episodes every week. But if I had to say what my favorite character was, I don't know. It's a really hard decision. I don't watch anime anymore, but when I was younger, for example, I loved Trunks from Dragon Ball. What fandoms do you participate in? What weird fandoms are you into? Currently, Genshin Impact. I also get a lot of content from Senseless Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail, but if you ask me overall, there's Frambo, Little Miss Fortune, Undertale, Five Nights at Freddy's, Danganronpa. I've been in many fandoms, although I haven't been super active in them. I love watching series or gameplays. Probably Five Nights at Freddy's was the first fandom I ever joined. Are you planning on making a Discord server any chance? No, even though I would like to, it's a space that needs moderation and control. I'm very busy and unfortunately I'm not someone who can consistently stay active in servers when it comes to chatting. Maybe I will do it for the first few days, but afterward I'd probably lose the routine. Also, I don't really know what it could include. I would love for it to be a safe place to share drawings, activities, and conversations focused on art or some fandoms. But I don't have the time or consistency needed to manage a server like that. For now, the answer is no. Do you like more traditional art or digital art? Digital art. I feel like I don't have the same skill level in traditional art as I do in digital art. I don't really have balance between both mediums, so it makes sense. Sometimes I make sketches in my sketchbook, but not more than that. I don't even remember the last time I finished a traditional illustration. Well, actually I'm lying. I do have several videos on the channel where I make traditional drawings. What is your favorite traditional art supply? Watercolors. I assume that's what you mean, right? I love them. A huge portion of the traditional drawings I've made recently uses that technique. And honestly, I absolutely love it. I adore the texture of watercolor paper as well as the final look of drawings made with that. And also the way the colors blend together when applied to the paper. It's a finish that I really like and I used it for some bizarre secret drawings I made for university assignments last year. I hope you'll have time to make more watercolor drawings again. And the last question is... which nostril do you breathe more? What? And that's all for today. I hope you like it. There was so many questions and I love how varied they were, and I hope you found the answers interesting. Here's the final result of the drawing. Let me take a moment to talk about the idea I had for this special birthday art. The title of this piece is Inner World. I took inspiration from several art that include things like tea parties. I always wanted to dream making an installation like that. So what better than doing it for my birthday? I not only included food that I absolutely love rendering, but I also included a wide variety of my uses, either as little chibis, invented table, or even as balloons. That is my inner world, a collection of ideas and adventures involving my uses that I hope will someday come to life and that I'll be able to properly tell you about. Oh yeah, and there's 49 Do. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next video.